Not the closest thing, because books might have been
right, the
omitted.
closest thing that we have.
Books might not have been recognized.
But that's the closest thing that we have.
It's not the closest to the original. It's the earliest manuscript.
And it's the closest we have.
The earliest manuscript may not be the original complete.
No, it's not the original complete
one.
But it's the closest thing to that. It's the closest thing to that. The King James Bible is the closest thing to that. So you got to go by it because it's the closest thing to that.
You don't have to go by it. You have to go by what is academically researched.
We don't have anything but that.
The most complete one.
We don't have the most. We have the closest thing, which is the King James Bible. So therefore, the Roman Catholics certainly don't have it. We're closer than they are. We're better off than they are.
No, you're not that wrong.
Yes, because we have a closer version.
You have a more reduced version.
We have the closest version.
You have something that is the earliest manuscript. That's all that you can say.
Which is a lot.
Which is
a lot. Yes, it is because nobody else has anything closer. There's nobody until somebody has something closer. We're the closest. Until somebody comes out with something closer.
If I have J.K. Rowling's earliest manuscript of Harry Potter, does that mean I have the complete set of Harry Potter?
No, but it means you have the closest thing that you got.
It means I have the earliest draft version.
Right, which is the closest thing we got.
Which means that she may have omitted parts.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but it is still the closest that we have in America.
It's not the closest
in the world.
It's the most. It's the earliest manuscript. That's
which is the closest thing we have.
That's all.
But that's all we have to go by. That's all we have to go by.
That's not all you have to go by. Because
it is.
Jesus' message.
Because we don't have anything else.
Because Jesus.
Until there's another scripture that's closer. It's the closest. Now, when they come out with a closest scripture, then you can say that. But since we don't have a closer version, because the King James is the closest we got, that means we have the closest, the King James is the closest. Earliest manuscript means the closest.
The earliest manuscript does not mean the closest.
Yes, it does.
Because Jesus had 12 disciples. You'll agree to that?
Yeah.
Not all 12 disciples went to Africa. You'll agree to that one also.
None of them did. King James went to Africa.
King James went to Africa, but not all of the 12 disciples went to Africa.
Most of the 12 disciples...
Will you agree that there were Jewish people, Jewish Christians living in Egypt,
what I'm trying to tell you...
in North Africa?
What I'm trying to tell you is right now, as it stands, the earliest manuscript is the closest we have to the King, to the real Bible.
The earliest manuscript is simply that, the earliest manuscript.
Right, which is the closest thing the world's got right now.
It's not the closest.
Then what is?
The closest thing is the Grand Assembly. The Grand
Do we have that
Assembly
yet?
text.
Do we have that yet?
No. You have to find...
No, we don't have that yet.
You have to find the disciples that went to Iraq.
Okay, well, do we have it?
You have to find the
disciples that
went
disciples?
to Syria.
Do we have that?
You have to find the disciples that went to...
Do we have that?
We have the closest thing in the Catholic
Exactly.
Bible. In the Catholic
No,
Bible.
they added to the Bible.
Because they have more books.
They added
because
books.
They have more books.
Says, no, you don't add... Oh, excuse me. Or take away.
What about the Gnostic Gospels?
Because you don't add or take away.
You don't add or take away. It's not the closest thing. The closest thing would be the complete. You have to do an academic
study. No, I didn't say it was complete. I didn't say it was complete. I said it's the closest thing to the complete.